Hey, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to look at another lithium iron phosphate battery. This is from a company called TEMGOT, and I agreed to review this one because it has some very interesting features, which I'll point out in just a second. We're going to get into all the testing details and all that in a minute, but this is basically what you get when you open the box. So that it spare you the actual unboxing. In this case, it's just a battery, right? And let's just see. We've got a couple of short terminal studs and a couple of caps for the terminal studs. We've got a warranty card here. This is a 5-year warranty according to the warranty card. And it does have a little user guide here. Now this says it's a smart battery with an LCD. Now, what does that mean? By the way, the user guide looks pretty nice so far. It's got some color illustrations in it, so that's good. But let's take a look at something interesting on this. All right, are you ready for this? I have not seen this on a battery before. But check this out. It's got its own little display, and we can power that up. And it'll come up and show me the state of charge. I can actually, it is a touch display, if you can believe that. And I'll give you close-ups of this, but it shows me the status of the individual cells. I'm going to have to go through this in a little more detail. I'm just literally unboxing this thing right now. So I haven't had a chance to test it. We've got our little terminal stoppers in there. But I think this is very cool. Let's find out if that's just a gimmick or if it's actually useful and how well this thing actually tests in terms of build quality and capacity. So let's go find out. All right, so I've had a chance to run this battery through its paces over the past month. And one of the interesting things that I discovered, as you'll see in a bit, is that in addition to the built-in touchscreen LCD display, the battery also has low temp protection, which I was not expecting, especially at this price point. So let's go ahead and jump into the specs on this battery, and then we'll check out how it performed for me over the past month or so of testing. Now, since I just mentioned price, let's cover that first. The price on this battery is currently $369 on Amazon US, and that's a pretty impressively low price when you consider that it does have that low temp cutoff protection. So most 100 amp hour batteries with low temp protection are typically priced about $100 more than that. So right off the bat, I'm pretty impressed with the bang for the buck on this battery, even without the integrated touchscreen LCD display, which it does have. And if you happen to buy it off of TEMGOT's website, there's an additional $20 discount code that you can use to get the price down below $350. And per usual, you can find all those links in the video description below. Now, the warranty on this battery is 5 years, which is pretty typical for these lithium iron phosphate batteries. And there are a few out there with 10-year warranties, but they literally also cost more than twice as much. And since it is lithium iron phosphate chemistry, it weighs in at just under 24 pounds. And you can expect it to maintain at least 80% of its original rated capacity, even after 3,500 full charge and discharge cycles, which should equate to about 10 years of daily use. So as you might expect, this battery has a 100 amp BMS, which means that its built-in battery management system supports a continuous charge and discharge rate of 100 amps. And as you'd also expect, its rated capacity is 1,280 watt hours, and for a maximum continuous load of 1,280 watts. Now, the recommended charging current for this is 20 amps, and the voltage range is pretty typical at 14.2 to about 14.6. It does also have an IP65 weather resistance rating, which means that it's suitable for a variety of outdoor applications, including powering a trolling motor. Now, the manual does state that you can connect up to 4 of these in series to create a 48-volt battery bank, and no more than 10 of these in parallel configuration. But it did not specifically mention a 4S, 4P configuration where you'd have 16 total batteries of 4 separate 4-battery parallel groups that are all connected in series. That would give you a 48-volt, 400 amp hour battery bank with a capacity of over 20,000 watt hours. Okay, so I think that about covers the specs. Let's go get this thing on the bench and see if it can live up to those specs. All right, we are going to do a discharge capacity test on this 100 amp hour battery, which should get us somewhere in the vicinity of 1,280 watt hours and 100 amp hours. So I've got my battery tester here, and we're going to try to pull 10 amps out of this. I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And we're going to let that run all the way down and see what kind of capacity we actually are able to get out of this battery. And then let me actually take you up top and show you what that LCD looks like. All right, if we long press this power button, we came up to page 2 here. We can see the discharge circuit is on and the charge circuit is on. So we can actually manually control that. We can see the temperature in Celsius, what the min and max are. Basically hasn't really changed since we've been in the same environment. Let's go to page 1 here. So I'm currently discharging. You can see I'm discharging at about 9.4 amps. And it says I got about 10 hours and 42 minutes. So it's nice that I can see how much time left I have on this battery at this current discharge rate. And then, so that's page 1, page 2, and then page 3. So page 3 shows me my individual cell charge level. All right, so we'll let this thing go and we'll check back when it's done. Okay, our DC discharge test is done. Let's zoom in and see how we did here. All right, as you can see, it took just under 10 hours to complete, and we got a total capacity of 1,282.9, so 1,283 watt hours. So that's just a little bit above the rated watt hours of 1,280. But I will say that this battery had been charged and basically sitting idle for over a month before I ran this test. So I'm going to charge this thing back up and rerun the test and see if we do any better. All right, I fully topped off the battery and gave it a little time to rest. And now I'm rerunning the test, but I'm actually changed it from 10 amp draw to a 12 amp draw. And we're going to see if that makes any difference, but I just want to double check, now that I got a full charge, if we can get any better than that, I think 1283 number we got last time. So we'll check back when it's done and find out. All right, our second discharge test is done. Let's zoom in here and see what we've got. Looks like we are at 1,308.4 watt hours. So excellent numbers. All right, while I'm recharging this TEMGOT battery, let's take a look at the Bluetooth app. That's right, it actually does have a Bluetooth app in addition to the built-in LCD. So you can see that when I pop the app up, it does kind of automatically scan for nearby devices with compatible BMSs. And I've got one here that, in this case, it normally would say, I think, a serial number, but I've already renamed it TEMGOT 100 amp hour. So I'm going to go ahead and press on that. And that will take me to my actual sort of dashboard here. So you can see I've got it up to 2% so far. Got an estimated charge time remaining at this current rate of about 5.5 hours, which shows that my charging and discharging MOSs are enabled. And what I do find very interesting is that I can see not only what the current and voltage going on and watts going into the battery are right now, but I can see the individual cells, and it does show me the individual cells. If I scroll down here, you can see they're pretty much all at 3.40, except for one, which is at 3.39. So it does show me that the volt differential is 0.01 volts. Now if we actually look at the millivolts on the LCD, we'd see they're actually a bit closer than that. But these are pretty well balanced cells, and it does show me the average high or the average low, or voltage high, voltage low of the 4 individual cells inside this battery. Current cycle index, so how many times has it been cycled? In this case, I've only got 2 cycles on it so far. And then, yeah, that's about it. If I go into control here, you can see that I can turn off charging and discharging. I can clear any warnings. I can reset the capacity. So once this thing is fully charged, I can reset the capacity so that the app is properly calibrated. History, I haven't played around with history much. Actually, it looks like I have to log in order to see the history. So that must be what's going on, because I've used this thing that's called jump login, which means you can bypass the login, because I didn't want to create an account. So it's nice that you can do that, but I guess you do sacrifice history if you don't log in. So if you want the history, you can of course log in. Under parameter, there's not a whole lot here. Under basic information, this is where you can rename the battery, and shows you the device model, the BMS version, you know, basic things like that that you probably don't care all that much about. So if you have multiple batteries in your device list that are enabled, you can page through them with the little right and left arrows up there and look at them individually. So kind of a no-frills app. It does give you all the kind of stuff that you would expect to want to be able to see. So pretty cool that you can do that in addition to having the LCD on top. All right, so I wanted to test the low temperature cutoff feature on this TEMGOT battery. So I put it in this refrigerator or freezer here, but I have a set point on this thing at about 5 degrees. You can see the thermometer I've got on top is reading 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you convert, that'll probably be roughly equivalent to, you see there, the internal battery temperature is at negative 14.6 degrees Celsius. So definitely below the threshold that this battery should permit charging. So we're going to take this out of the freezer, put it up on the bench. I'm going to hook up a charger to it, and hopefully it will not start charging. All right, so got the battery on the bench here. You see a lot of condensation as this battery is starting to acclimatize. But if I turn the LCD back on, you'll see that we are still reading negative 12 degrees Celsius. So it's well below freezing. And even though the discharge and charge are both on, we're going to find out if that is actually tied to the BMS or not in terms of allowing charge or discharge. So in the back here, if you can barely see it here, I've got the negative lead already connected to my smart shunt. And I'm going to go ahead and fire up the app here so we can watch that and see if we're taking a charge or not. All right, so as you can see in the app, we are currently showing 0 amps current going in, 0 power, and we are showing a voltage of 13.31 volts, which is very close to the 13.32 volts we are getting on the battery. So let me go ahead and connect the positive lead of the charger, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so immediately we saw the battery go into standby. And you can see we're still getting 0 current, even though we're showing a voltage of 14.4 volts. So if I go here to page 2, you can see the charge indicator is now showing off. So that is definitely working. Let's see if this thing will auto recover. I'm going to leave it like this. I'll be able to see on the trend page of the Smart Shunt app when this thing starts to recharge, if in fact that it does. And I do expect it to. So we'll go find out how long it takes. All right, as you can hear, we are definitely charging. In fact, the LCD does show that we are charging now. Temperature is almost just under 11 degrees Celsius. And if we look at the app, you can see we're pulling in 17 amps. Let's see if we can find out when this actually started charging, because it's about 3 hours from when we last checked in. So let me go to trends here. And you can see we went on that top line there with no current going in to up there where we hit 17 amps. So that seems to have tripped right around about 2 hours and 15 minutes after this thing was frozen solid. That's how long it took for it to thaw out, and it automatically began charging. So I would say low temp cutoff definitely works. Right, let's do a quick load test on this battery. We're going to find out, since the BMS does support continuous discharge at 100 amps, we're going to find out, and by the way, that is 1,280 watts. We're going to find out if it can sustain that for a full 15 minutes. We're going to monitor it on my Smart Shunt app from the Victron Smart Shunt that I have hooked up here in the back. So let me pop up a screen on the Smart Shunt app, and we're going to monitor this and see if we can get this very close to 1,280 watt hours. So let me start adding some load here. And then let me add one more. This should get us pretty close, just a little bit more. So we're going to hear that AC inverter kick on. You can see we're already over the 100 amps. We're at 115. Go ahead and start the timer. Oh, it just cut us off. So the BMS answered that question very quickly. So we're going to have to reset and do this test over again. Okay, so I did find out that this does auto recover pretty quickly. Less than a minute. I think it took about 30 seconds maybe, and then it started supplying power again. So let me go ahead and turn my AC inverter back on. Now I do have a power station just off camera that I have set up to, since it does a variable charge configuration, so I set it up to charge at 600 watts. And we should see that here in the app starting to tick up. So once we get that up there, in there, the 600 watt mark, let me go ahead and add some additional load. This will take us just over the 1280, but not as high as we were before. we'll still be over the 100 amps, but not as high as before. We're going to see if this will run. Go ahead and start the timer, and we'll find out. All right, as we saw, handled the 15 minutes, no problem. Without the timer, let's see if we can just spike a fairly high current draw, well over 100 amps. And let's see if just, maybe for a second. Okay, that time it spiked over 219 amps for just basically a second. So clearly this battery is capable of outputting pretty high amperage, well over 200 amps for just a very short period of time to kind of allow you to handle some very high current spikes for startups like compressors and things like that. But definitely performs up to that 100 amp continuous spec and that 1,280 watts spec. In fact, we were about 25 to 30 watts over that consistently for 15 minutes straight, and there was no problem at all. But if we went much higher than that at all, it pretty much cuts you off within a matter of about 15 seconds or less. All right, so as you saw, this battery performed quite well. It did live up to all of its rated specs, including that low temp cutoff protection, which if you're needing to use something like this where the temps regularly do get down below freezing, it's a pretty important feature that you need to be able to rely on. So I think that the built-in LCD display is also pretty handy, especially for small setups where you might not want to have to bother with adding an extra battery shunt for monitoring. And also, I didn't mention this previously, but there actually is a Bluetooth mobile monitoring app for this battery that can connect to multiple batteries and allow you to remotely monitor them individually. So to wrap up, I think this battery from TEMGOT is definitely worth considering if you're in the market for as much bang for the buck as you can get in a 100 amp hour 12 volt battery with low temp battery protection. It's definitely one of the least expensive options I've seen with low temp cutoff built in. And then of course, that top mounted color touchscreen LCD and Bluetooth mobile app monitoring are extremely nice bonuses that I think you would be hard pressed to find anywhere else at this particular price point. And if you want to go check it out, as per usual, I'll leave links for that in the description below. Okay, so hopefully you found some of this information helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider clicking that like button for me. And if I missed something that you were hoping I'd cover, or if you have any lingering questions about this battery, feel free to leave those in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to respond to those as soon as I can. So, thanks for watching, and I do hope you'll join me for the next one. Until then, have fun out there.